Thank you very much for coming. Didn't expect so many people, so thank you. Glad to see all you here. This room is very dark, so it's a bad setup for a after lunch session, but I'm watching you. Try to keep you awake. Okay, let's say thank you as usual to all our sponsors. And if this device works, yes, it does. Welcome to this session, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning with Power BI. My name is Andrea, Martorana Tusa. I am from Italy, but I work and live in Denmark. I work for Pandora, and I hope that everyone knows what Pandora is, what Pandora does. I hope that someone maybe is wearing some Pandora. Oh, thank you very much. So it's easy for me every time I say I work for Pandora because everyone knows, so I don't need to explain our business, what we are doing in Pandora. I'm doing in Pandora. We are using Power BI inside SharePoint. I am the product manager for the SharePoint site we use for distributing Power BI. I'm doing some administration and governance on the Power BI of the Power BI tenant and some other stuff in terms of access control and role-based access controls. MVP in the data platform area with many years of experience in the area of Microsoft Business Intelligence. Speakers, this is my 4th time here, so I'm very happy to be here every time as a every time they pick me, and I really like the event. I really like the location, the city, and I really like Poland. So I'm very happy to be here every time I can, and every time I'm selected for speaking here. Okay, so today we talk about some machine learning things for Power BI, how to use these services for Power BI. We talk some about automated machine learning, and then we talk about cognitive services. I'm not good at keeping track of the time, so I'm trying to force myself and trying to stick on the time slot that I have, because we have plenty of things to see and demos, many demos. So let's see. Automated machine learning. What it is? Automated machine learning for data flows. Keyword for data flows. Set of machine learning algorithms, out of the box algorithms ready for you to be applied and consumed for your data sets. So you don't need to know any code, you don't need to write any algorithm. The service takes the best algorithm for you and provides you the best input, or what it thinks it is the best input. So no, it's a let's say no code environment, if we can say it. And what you need is to pass by a set of data. Of course, data that has a meaning. Unfortunately, premium feature for Dataflow. And that's that's it. There's nothing more we can say. So it's a premium feature for Dataflow. I have a workaround that I will show you how to bypass the premium limitation, but no way not to pay money. So if it's not premium, it's another subscription, but you need to pay money. So that's that's it. When you pass a set of data to the Dataflow, so this is happening inside Dataflow, so we will see it. You have 3 options. So you have 3 different models for applying a machine learning logic. You have a binary prediction. Binary prediction is very simple. 1, 0, true, false, black and white. So it is either 1 or it is either true or false. And that's it. So predicts whether or not. If something happens or if something doesn't happen. General classification. It's a clustering among 3 or more outcomes. So we can categorize customers We can categorize sales, products, whatever. So it's the idea of clustering, creating clusters across, grouping your data into logical clusters. And then regression, linear regression, is just data value for estimating based on data calculation, nothing fancy. How does it work? You go into, we will have a demo for it, no worries. So you go into Dataflows, you start importing data into Dataflows, and this is the workflow. So the first area is create and train your model. You need to create a model, and the model needs to be trained. Then, once the model is trained, you improve, iterate, train, retrain, blah, 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 and then you apply the model. So at the end of the day, you need 2 sets of data. And I will give you access to 2 sets of data, because you need the training data set, so the data set that already knows the output, and the data set that must be passed to the model, so the model can create the model and the calculation behind, and then some data to be calculated. Okay, so you want to see if a customer is a good one or a bad one, you need some pre-prepared data, and then you can pass the list of your customers and ask the model, assess if this customer is a good or a bad customer, or is it a buyer or whatever. Feel free to ask any question anytime, but we will see how it works. So when you create and train your model, you need to pass some data as an input. Then the machine learning asks you, okay, which model you want to apply. It detects for you. Then the output from this first step is 2 datasets. You have a training dataset and a testing dataset. We will see it. Actually, in your workspace, you will have a new report, Power BI report, standard Power BI report, and a new dataset based on this model. And then you will apply the model to another dataset, and you will have some output based on the data that you are passing by. Binary prediction. We are not going into details, but for each model, you have a different output. So there are some columns. These are extra columns added to your data that are explaining you how the score was evaluated, basically. Okay, so this is a demo session. So we go through demo. The demo is based on this German credit card dataset, which is available, and it's free. And it's a good set of data created by the University of California, Irvine. In the slides, you have the link, so you can actually go download this dataset and test it by yourself. It's absolutely fine. But I have created a GitHub repository, and this GitHub repository, it's free, it's public, so you can access it, and you can download all the data, or you can use all the data. Okay. Glasses that I'm showing you directly from my GitHub repository. So the point, we really have no time to go into details for this dataset, but the point is that they prepared a dataset based on some categorization of people. Are you good? What's here? Status. Duration of the credit in month, credit history, credit amount. So because the output is assessing if you are either a good or a bad buyer when you apply for a credit card or for a credit. 1 is good, 2 is bad. You can go here and download the dataset. It's absolutely available. It's available in my GitHub. At the end of the session, the last slide shows you all my contacts and shows you the GitHub. So you are forced to be here till the end, because then you can get the link for going to this GitHub, where I have all the datasets that I'm using in this demo, and you have the slides as well. So you have everything you need here in this GitHub. The data, it's this set of data, credit history, purpose, credit amount, blah, 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 and it's categorized. So each clustered into different categories. And why I cannot see it? The last column, okay, this is weird. The last column, it's the credit risk, the assessment. So it means that this is the training data set. He already knows if you are, based on all the other categories, if you are either good or bad buyer. So it gives already a risk assessment, because this is a training data set. So this is what I need to pass to the model for training the model. Okay? So we need, and remember that you always need the raw format, the raw file format from GitHub. So now we go to Power BI, Premium Workspace, unfortunately. And in a Premium Workspace, we just create a new data flow. Power BI asks every time if you want to go to a data mart. No, I want to create a data flow. So I'm creating a new data flow from scratch. Empty. I'm adding new tables. And I have a CSV file, because my file in my GitHub repository, it's a CSV. Copy, paste. And next. Okay, so the data flow, it's reading. This is my the list of my fields, and you see that here at the bottom I have this credit risk assessment, so it's okay. Okay, so just transform data. So basically it's stored into my data flow. I don't need anything. I think I need to enable this one, because there is a bug somewhere in a data flow. I don't remember exactly where it is. Okay, so I have a new data flow. Let's say live demo credit risk. I save the data flow. So I'm saving a data flow with the file inside. And the data flow is asking, okay, you want to refresh now? No, I don't. Fine. So I have a set of data, a data set. And now I want to this data set, I want to apply a machine learning model. Okay, so from here, hope you can see, yeah, the contrast is not bad. Okay, so from here, I go to machine learning models. Since I have no machine learning models yet, this is exactly the same pictures that I showed you before, so the workflow. And we just go and say, okay, let's get started. We have only one table, so the model can be based only on the single table that I just imported. And I need to select the outcome column. So this is the column that gives the assessment, the evaluation of the credit risk. So I say my column for calculating the model, it's the credit risk column. Okay, are we fine? Dataset and column, outcome column. In this stage, I already know the output. Okay, it's just creating a new model, and the model needs to be trained. By default, since it's a very simple model, the machine learning understands that the best fit might be a binary prediction. So it's telling me, I think you can go for a binary prediction. This is our case because it's either 1 or 2, so it's okay, a binary prediction. If the data is not clear, or if you want to switch to other models, you can do it, and there is the option to go and select the type of machine learning model you want to apply. Then from the column credit risk, tell me the value that is meaningful for you. The value that is meaningful for me, it's 1. And what's wrong here? What 1 for me means good. So I'm writing a label here saying this value 1 for me kind of translate to good. The other, since I have only 2 values, 1 or 2, if you are not getting 1, but if you are getting 2, the mismatch value, then for me it's bad. So you are a bad buyer. Okay, we go. Okay, then the model is asking me, I think that among all the columns that you have in your dataset, I think these are the columns most relevant for calculating the machine learning model. Okay, I trust it, but if, of course, if you don't think it's true, you can just select all the columns you want. So it's okay. And then I am at the final stage. The final stage is that I give my model a name, live credit risk model, for instance, description, and then this is the tricky part because the model takes some time. What's happening now? Why I have some issues on browsing down? I don't know why. Okay, so what happens now? What happens is that from this set of data, I don't know how many rows I have, but from this number of rows, 80% I used to train the model. 20% are used to test the model once the model has been created. It's absolutely under the behind the scenes. We know nothing about it, and it takes some time. So it might range from 5 minutes to 3 hours, 6 hours. We do not have this time. The lowest time frame is 5 minutes. So we should wait 5 minutes until the model is created and processed. We do not have this time, so we already have a model trained and created. Okay, let's go. Okay, so now I'm switching to another data flow because I should wait 5 minutes or maybe more until everything is ready. I already have trained the same set of data for you, so it's exactly the same set of data. I have the German credit card data, and I created already a binary classification model for that. So I have 2 extra data sets here. The training area and the testing area. So I have 80% of my data used for training, 20% used for testing. And there is an output from it. And I have a model. So I have a machine learning model created. And the data model is prediction. So binary prediction. This actually corresponds to a report. So I have a Power BI report in my workspace. While it's opening, I can show you maybe. So actually in the workspace, I have a Power BI report. And I actually have more than Power BI report because I created a couple of models. So for each model, I have a Power BI report and I have a data set created. And inside the data flow, I have another couple of new tables. Okay, so this is the model. How the model was assessed, how the model was created, and I have some outputs on quality, precision, all this kind of stuff. Of course, this is a test data set. Everything is fine. Everything is working fine. So I have a good accuracy on it. When you try doing it in your real life, the accuracy is way different. And of course, it takes you a lot of time to assess or to understand or to change the data and so on and so forth. But so this is a report that is generated by default from Power BI. And in this report, you have all these values. Unfortunately, on the laptop is not the best resolution, but you have the output from, so you have 148 good values, 52 bad values, and blah blah blah, and some accuracy, and okay, this kind of stuff. Okay. Then so I have my my model. Let's go here again. So I have my machine learning model. It's a prediction model. Now I want to apply. Oh no, sorry. Maybe we can take a look here before, because sometimes it's very slow. So I'm afraid that opening this window, this is a data flow. And inside the data flow, you have these two new data sets. This one. Let's see, because unfortunately this environment is very, very, very slow. So I wouldn't spend time waiting and watching it. Basically, I have two new datasets, okay? And into these two new datasets, I have some extra columns. This is maybe not because this is, I guess, the tested. This is maybe most relevant because I have some kind of explanation about the calculation that has been behind. So it gives me some understanding or what's happening or how the logic was applied. Let's see if we do not have to wait too much. Hopefully we don't. Oof. Ah, come on. Yeah, I know. This environment, unfortunately, is very slow. Basically, you have we keep it running. We have some other columns explaining you some the output of the calculation. Okay, no, we cannot afford having time. Okay, so I have my model. The model is ready. Now I have an extra data set, and I want to apply the logic to the extra data set. So I have another data set, and I have another data set of customers, and this is called credit risk, the UCI credit risk. It's another set of customers, the same structure as the previous data set because they must have the same structure. The only difference is that at the end I do not have any credit risk evaluation because the credit risk evaluation now is being performed by the model. So I pass a list of potential customers, whatever, and I'm expecting that the model assesses for each of them if it's either bad or good buyer, based on the categories and based on the model. Okay, if the process is not clear, please ask. So I have to pass another data set, so I'm adding a new table. Again, text CSV from raw data in GitHub. Okay. Same set of data, just I do not have the credit risk assessment, so okay. Save and close. This is my table, save and close. And we cross our fingers because we might wait a lot of time for it. And I can do nothing, sorry, but it's just the environment, which is very slow. Almost there. Go. Come on. Oof. So I already have a model prepared because I knew it's gonna take a while. Let's see if we can manage. Otherwise, we switch to the pre-calculated model because I know it's sometimes it's very slow and it's unpredictable. So maybe we can take a look at the already existing model because I have another model which completed. So this is the output. I pass the dataset. Yeah, still running. So let's keep it running and go. We go on. I have this credit risk. This is my dataset that I passed to the model, and I applied the machine learning model to this dataset. I will show you once it's finally loading. Wow, good luck. What's happening here? Then you have an output of 2 extra datasets, as you see. So for the dataset that has been evaluated, you have 2 more datasets. One is giving you the output, so it's for each row, it's telling you good, bad customer, and in this second dataset, you have the explanation of why this is this has been assessed as a good or bad customer. So you see, you have some extra columns here. The explanation index, the outcome. The outcome is the real value, because it's a Boolean, so it's either 1 or 2. And some scores and some predictions. So let's see if we are lucky. We can. Oh, okay. This one completed. Meanwhile, so if it's not confusing too much, I would like to switch 1 second back because we are missing a step. I didn't show you how to apply the machine learning model to the dataset. So let's do it. I am in my machine learning model. Is it visible or is it? Yes, the contrast is not great, but here I have a button, apply machine learning model. So now I can apply the machine learning model to my new table, the UCI credit risk, and I will have a new output column, and the output column will be the column with 1 or 2. I can give you any name here. It's okay, credit risk trained mode for demo output, whatever. And I can also apply a sensitivity threshold. I can play with these numbers, but it's kind of too much for us. So the concept here is that I imported the new table and I'm applying the model that I created to do this new table. The output, the expected output, it's a new column, giving me the score for each of my customers. Okay, so it's working. Let's see if yes. So now from here we can see that this is my output column. This is my UCI credit risk dataset. And in this dataset, I have these new values. And I have 2 new datasets, one for the values and one for the explanations. Hopefully it won't take too much to load. Same thing, meanwhile, it's faster. Same thing I can see from Power BI desktop. Because it's a data flow, I'm basically storing some data into my data flow. So I can actually connect from a Power BI desktop to data flows and see, hopefully it's faster, we see the data sets. So I'm connecting to data flows, workspaces, from Power BI desktop. It's the same set of data, no? So you have this one, I would say, credit risk data flow, and I have my UCI credit risk data. So if I connect, let's see if it's faster. It's the same because I have the data in the data flow, so I can either connect from directly from data flow or from Power BI desktop. Yeah, this one is still running, I hope. Good luck. Okay, so transform data. And so this is my original dataset. And I have an extra dataset, which is giving me the outcome, so the assessment, true or false, if you are a good or a bad buyer. And there are some explanations based on the data model, the machine learning model that I created. So there are some explanations and some values. And this is kind of how to say categorization. Yes, so it's the explanation index. It's the explosion of the same rows that you have here. For each row, you have plenty of details. So you have row number 1, explanation index, which corresponds to this explanation index here. So you have details, and you have a score and some other values. Let's say from my pure data perspective, I'm not interested in what's happening behind the scenes. I'm interested in getting an output. So for each new customer, I get an assessment if you are going to be a good or bad customer for some reasons based on the categorization and the classification that I gave to you. Okay? Is it clear? I don't know how much. If there were any question? Oh, meanwhile it loaded. Oh, okay, cancel. Okay, so the workflow and the logic. Hope it was clear. I want to show you another example because actually in the documentation, if you look for machine learning, automated machine learning Power BI, you find out plenty of good examples. No, this is what I wanted to show you. Sorry, before we go further. That was done using Power BI Premium Dataflow. I promised you there is a workaround. Yeah, there is a workaround, but of course there are some downside. I created the same example based on this article. You find this article in the documentation in my slides deck. So you can create exactly the same stuff, credit risk prediction. Unfortunately, this is the old one in Microsoft Machine Learning Cloud. So this is Microsoft Machine Learning Studio, the classic version. I created what is called an experiment, and the experiment it's assessing exactly the same stuff. So you pass some training data. It's the same data set, UCI credit card the values, and you do exactly the same prediction. You have training and you have testing. There are some algorithms in the middle. This is not the concept. The concept is that at the end, what you are getting is a web service. So the Machine Learning Studio Classic exposes a web service. The web service has an API key and a name, I guess. This can be used in Power BI Desktop for calling exactly the same experiment, the same machine learning model, without having a premium capacity, because I already have my datasets here. So this is exactly the same dataset that I have for the credit card assessment. What I'm doing here, I'm calling through R, I'm calling this web service. So you have a web service here. You pass the key, you pass the name, you call the web service. The web service is consumed by a package called Azure ML in Microsoft R server. So it's not easy, I understand. And this script is in the documentation. I didn't create anything. I understand it's not easy, but there is a workaround. Unfortunately, the Machine Learning Studio is going to be killed. So we should make it now in the new version of machine learning, which is Azure Machine Learning. I do it in my spare time. I do it for free. So I do it when I have time. That's it. But of course, it will gonna expire soon, so I will need to recreate it in the new environment. This is the way to bypass the premium need. You can create something in Azure Machine Learning, but of course, you need a subscription, you need an account, and you are billed for using Azure Machine Learning. It's not for free. So probably it's cheaper, but it's not that you can get anything for free. And I mean, it's understandable. Last point that I wanted to just briefly mention to you is that I was telling that in the documentation, it's pretty easy to find out something related to binary prediction. You have plenty of good samples on binary prediction. You have plenty of good data sets on binary prediction. The other two learning models, the linear regression and the general classification, I haven't found out anything. So I played a bit and I created my own set of data in GitHub. They are in the same GitHub, so you can access it with some fake failure data for some products. So I created an experiment based on linear regression, calculating the age of a product and the number of failures that you can expect. So as expected, it's a linear regression. The older the product is, the weaker is. But this is something interesting if you want to play with something that it's different from binary classification. You have the values, the data here in my GitHub. And there is a kind of a short explanation, I guess, in the yes here. So binary classification, linear regression, you have the data sets, you can play. You can also contact me if you need anything. Okay, I'm a bit not on the schedule, but before we switch to another topic, is there any comment, question, whatever, related to automated machine learning? It's not easy, but I hope that the workflow was clear now, because of course it's not that, and of course the main issue is having a good set of data. Having a good set of data, or data that can be ingested easily, it's a nightmare. It's really a nightmare. But I hope that the workflow was at least was clear. Thank you. Okay, so we switch to something that is way more funny. Seriously, we have fun now. And we switch to cognitive services. What cognitive services are? Again, cloud-based artificial intelligence services. You don't need to know anything about artificial intelligence, data skills, or coding, because you basically get APIs and some client libraries, and cognitive services makes the work for you. Cognitive services applies to some categories of, I don't know how to call them. There are services for vision, for speech, for language, and for decision. We focus on the language APIs today. So we will show some examples on how to apply cognitive services, language services. Maybe this is not that much readable. You have a language service, you have a translator, language understanding, Q&A, but we are going to the language services. And we are again stepping into the diamond, unfortunately. It's a premium feature. It's directly available in Dataflows. It's directly available in Power BI Desktop. It's a premium feature. Full stop. Premium capacity. You read Power BI Premium. Sorry. Yes, it does. It does. Yes. I'm when I say in premium, it's yes, extensive. But then only if you are the creator and the consumer, because if you expose the service, since there is a function and there is an API call, you know what the API call says if you do not have so I don't think it's a good use case for premium for per user. Okay, so what we are going to do now is that we have open data from Airbnb. There is a good, very, very good set of open data available in Airbnb, and they have reviews. So reviews from real users. So we have real data, reviews from users that are have been guests in a house, and they are giving a feedback. With cognitive services, we would like to analyze this kind of feedback. So you go on cognitive on Airbnb, but again, it's on my GitHub. But you can go on Airbnb and download a bunch of data. The problem is that I spent a lot of time creating a good CSV file format, because there were a lot of commas and then some weird letters in some weird language, so I had to perform a lot of cleanup for having a good set of data to be passed to the model. Yeah, emoticons or whatever. Exactly. So it's not. It was not easy, but I made the work for you. So you have where are the glasses? So you have all the data here in my GitHub. It's under reviews, and if you open, it's just this is real data. So you have comments, and you have some other stuff, but we are going to analyze the comments. Okay, so again, raw data, and let's see, Control C, and we need a new data flow. So we go in Power BI service, and we create, not here, what's wrong here? We create a new data flow, new data flow. No, create a data flow. Add again a new table. Text CSV. Control V. And this is my set of data. Okay, this is my set of data. Transform data. Okay, then options. Security, I guess we have to do it. Okay, so now I have here, maybe it's better giving a save before. Okay, so my data flow is cognitive services. Save. Okay, no, I don't want to refresh. And I want to edit my table. And okay, now here, as you can see, you have a button, Artificial Intelligence Insights. Here, there are some preset services, either Azure Machine Learning or Cognitive Services for text analytics and something else. So I can connect. Every time I have to connect, and it's a nightmare. There is something wrong in this environment still. You have it's easy that you have issues on authentication. Connect, and again, unfortunately, it's very slow. Yeah. Okay, so now, as you can see, I have some folders. Machine learning, it's a connection to machine learning because I have some models in Azure Machine Learning, but I'm interested in cognitive services. In cognitive services, I have some services that are related to text analysis. This is what I want to focus on. So we will perform free we will scan 3 times our text, because we want to calculate the sentiment analysis. So you get an assessment, or if your feedback is positive or negative. Then you can detect the language, so language detection, which language the comment has been written, and you can also extract key phrases. Let's start with the score sentiment. So what happens is that I have the column which is called review, it's called comment. So I have my comment column with a lot of text, and I want to analyze, is it a positive, neutral, or negative comment? Then I'm applying this API and this language analysis. It will take some time, unfortunately, but at the end we will have a score, and the score will be a value. The score will be a value between 0 and 1. The closer to 1, the more positive the feedback, and the closer to 0, the more negative. Okay, so it was fast. So here I have score sentiment. Can you see it? So these values are very positive. All these comments, they are very positive because they are close to 1. But don't know if they are sorted. I have no clue. But yeah, there are some other comments which are scored with a poor score. So it means that the comment was it has been ranked as negative. Then of course it depends on us, because this is a machine. So, but this is the first that we can do, the first kind of analysis. So score sentiment. Second, it's the language detection. Again, same set of data, same column, the review column, the comments column. Come on. Okay, so I apply artificial intelligence, and I use the second function. The second function is language detection. So cognitive services, detect language, again, use a value in a column. I didn't specify it, maybe worth mentioning, because you can either pass a parameter, or you, from your data set, you say, no, I have a column, and I have a column with the comments. I guess this is the most common use case. So you have a column in your data set with the value you want to analyze, no? So you use values in a column and give me, take the comments. And I'm basically calling a function in Power BI, in Power Query. I think I can show you on Power BI desktop as well. We should have time for it. Okay, so it's running again. In this case, I will have a new column, and the column it's telling me the language in which the comment has been written. We have comments in several languages, so, and actually it works fine. So I have, let's see if I can have something different from English. For instance, this one. Yes, I guess this is Danish, Lars. So yes. So we have Danish, we have Portuguese, and there is some Italian as well. I saw that there is some Italian. This is German. What's wrong? Okay, Danish, German, English. So you have it's performing the language detection. I don't know if you ever Chinese or whatever. And I can confirm it's accurate because Danish is real Danish, Italian is real Italian. I don't know if there is any Polish here, but we can we can check it out. I'm not filtering out because it's taking a lot of time then to filter, but this is working fine. I don't know if you ever experienced when you write in Teams. We have in the company we have Teams and everything is in English, no? If I write to some colleague in Italian, Teams is asking me, "Are you writing in Italian?" And this is exactly the same concept behind. No, it's calling an API, and the API is doing performing the language detection. So it's exactly the same concept. So second section, second function, language detection. Third function, it's key phrases. Again, use my comment column, apply. So take off the most common phrases, because maybe what I want to do then is creating what's the difference here? This one. Because once I got my list of key words and phrases, I can go to Power BI desktop. I can connect to my data flow. Don't think this is the right example actually. And I can call a custom visual, which is called word cloud, and I can see the distribution of the most common words, no? So, okay, so key phrases, and should be key words as well. So then I go to Power BI desktop, and I connect to my data flow, and I use this word cloud, and I have the list of most used words in the comments. I want to show you that you can do the same from Power BI desktop, but you need premium as well. So if I create Power BI desktop, so we did it in data flow, it's fine, we can save. From data flow I can connect from Power BI desktop to the data flow, and I directly get the values. But I can also call the function directly from Power BI desktop, because it's a function available. The only again you need a premium subscription. So I'm directly importing the dataset. This is my dataset. I'm importing the dataset. And okay, then I go into transform data, and transform data, and I have this nice button here, text analytics. If I click on text analytics, it is calling exactly the same set of functions that I have seen online. It's taking a lot of time as well. It will give you the same folders, the same function, the same set of functions. So text analytics, detect language, key phrases, core sentiment, but no premium, no party. If you do not have any premium capacity in your account, then all this stuff it's grayed out, so you can do nothing. Sorry. And then it's the same. So you score sentiment, you apply to your data set, you have a column which is called comments, and it works the same. You are applying a function, so column name, yes, 5 minutes, yes, thank you, comments, and then you apply. I'm not running it because it takes some time, but this is the same concept. And the output in your dataset is a new column with sentiment analysis, with language detection, and whatever. So you can do either from Dataflow or from Power BI desktop. It's exactly the same, and it works the same. Is there any chance that we can get it without Power BI Premium? Yes, Yes, there is. Because you go here. No, where are you? No, you go here. Azure. This is my personal Azure subscription. Luckily, yes. What's yes? Ask. Yeah, there are some other language services. There is a translator service. So in cognitive services is a rich set of language, but not only language, also image tools, let's say. So yes, I never used it, to be honest, but theoretically speaking, there is. So I go into Azure Machine Learning, Azure portal. There is a section called Cognitive Services. This is my personal subscription of Azure. I created an account called Text Analytics. I have an API for it, and since I'm just testing, there are some pricing tiers. So this is as long as you have 5,000 transactions per day, it's free. So for me, it's good. It's working fine. I can use it because I'm just using it for a demo. How does it work? It works that in Power BI desktop, you have to do something weird, but there is a documentation for it, and you have to call the same service. So you have a cognitive services online with an endpoint, an API. You have to call this API and the endpoint and invoke directly into Power BI desktop. Of course, it's not the same as having a shared data flow where everyone can go and access it. It's of course it's better is only for you, I would say. But this is how it works. I have three functions. So I'm calling three functions, and for each function I'm passing my endpoint, my API key, and there is some M script. Again, it's coming from the documentation. So it's actually it's doable, and it works the same way. Pay attention to the fact that if you have a lot of feedback, users feedback, for instance, and if you want to read it, the free tier is not enough. But it works the same. So I have a sentiment score, I have a language detection, and I have key phrases. Okay? So that's it. While I share with you my contacts and my GitHub, we have a couple of minutes for questions, comments, or whatever you want to share. Yes? Say it again, sorry, I didn't get. Dedicated server. Ah, okay, 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 might be. Okay. Yeah, there are SDK. Okay. You know what? Yes, might be. The problem is that these things are changing very fast. So I showed you that, for instance, Machine Learning Studio is going to be decommissioned. So you really need to stay on touch because if you are not doing anything for 6 months, then it's not working. Every time your demo must be recreated because it's not working anymore. Something has changed. Anyone else? Okay, no. Okay, so I managed to be in timing. Unbelievable. Thank you. And oh, yes. We use cognitive services. Cognitive services, they are nice, they are powerful, and they are reliable. Machine learning, it's a different story. We have a set of data scientists which are performing analysis on customer prediction, but they are using something that honestly is more complex. then this is what you get out of the box. They want to have full control, so honestly speaking, they are creating their own models from scratch. We use it for cognitive services because I think cognitive services is really nice, smooth, and reliable. Thank you then. Thank you very much.